Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Johnny Bananas, and I'm going to be covering a brand new season of The Challenge USA on CBS that, of course, I will be completely dominating on my podcast, Death, Taxes, and Bananas on the Ringer Reality TV podcast. Head over that feed and follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. All right, it's official. I think I've discovered the ultimate coupling of all time. Like any good relationship, they really balance each other out. One is super sweet, and the other, well, they can be a little nutty sometimes. It is, of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. So perfect, some would call it true love. Find Reese's now at a store near you. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. I am here with Callie Curry. Hi, Callie.
Hello.
I almost said welcome to Food News, which is a different podcast that I host, but has nothing to do with this.
Great plug.
Thank you. We are here today to talk about the Men Tell All. And as you said, it's probably going to be a short podcast because this was such a nothing burger. Callie, do you feel like you learned anything from this episode of The Bachelorette?
Oh, did I learn anything? Oh, you know what? I learned 2 things.
Okay.
Which isn't 3 things. First thing I learned was that Pete must really suck.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up Pete, who was a second pilot Pete that I believe Jody and I talked about, but he did go home on night 1, so we never really got to know him. This whole thing was inexplicable. I was like, what are they talking about? Pete was probably the headliner of the season, of this episode, I mean, because you almost never get like genuinely new information on the Men Tell All or Women Tell All, but this was genuinely new. And what happened was everyone hated Pete on night 1 and he went home. And then the guys,
do you remember them hating him?
No, he was barely on the show. Like, I don't remember him. I only remember his bio. I was like, who is this guy?
If you put them all up on screen and ask me who's Peter, 0 chance. I have no clue. Maybe by process of elimination, I could have narrowed it down a little bit. But like, at first I was like, why are we doing this? I don't even know who this guy is. And then when I heard what they did, I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean.
Callie, can you tell me what they did? Because I had to like rewind this several times to understand. What did they do?
Essentially, they had some Zoom call at the end of the season, I guess, and everyone was on it. And then they started posting to their social media accounts, mostly Instagram. And it would just be like their regular, like what they do. Like, hey, I'm going to be on The Bachelor. You know how they post their headshots? Mm-hmm. And then at the very end of their post, they would like space it out and just put hashtag FP. And it meant fuck Peter.
Right. And so all the guys participated in this. And I guess on the Zoom call, he immediately asked about like endorsements and like, you know, how you become an influencer. And allegedly on night 1, he was talking about how he was going to leverage his appearance. And so all of the guys like really disliked him. And so they made it like a running bit on their social. As you said, they did like hashtag FP, fuck Peter. I went back and looked if like they showed 2 people's socials with it, including it was Aaron and someone else. So I went back to look at Aaron's and it was gone. So he's edited it and they've since erased it. But I just thought this whole thing was really weird. But my main takeaway from that was like, and from seeing the guys interact on this tell all in heavy quotation marks, because they tell very little. These guys are not as good as we thought. Like all season, we were like, oh, she's got such a great group of guys. And I was like, this is the most childish, dumb thing ever. Like sending each other secret messages through a hashtag on Instagram is like just incredibly lame. At least on Love Island, when they're using coded language, it's to avoid saying things on TV. It's like, what was the point of this other than to ostracize this one man who, even if he sucks, Who cares? He's gone. I was just like, this is so lame. It aggressively made me dislike a lot of them, particularly Xavier and Brian. You know, I'm Xavier's number one fan, but he was like clearly the ringleader on a lot of this.
Yeah. I don't know if he was the ringleader or not, but he definitely did it a lot, apparently. And he apologized for it multiple times. I had a lot of thoughts on it. My first thought was like, we've seen people like come in and out of Bachelor that like everyone hates. And there's always a few guys that like stick up for them or like them. Like it's never everyone on the same page about one person. Like even, what was her name? Like Cassie had people. What's her name? Shanae. Shanae had people on her side. I'm sorry if you hear baby noises in the background.
This is a podcast for and by working moms, so we support you, Callie. Working parents,
Thank you.
I should
appreciate
say.
that.
It's all parents, not just moms.
Yeah, working parents. So yeah, I was just like shocked how every person had the exact same attitude towards him. Like even when he was like, I don't know if I said it. And they zoomed in on every guy's face and they were just like he clearly was talking about endorsements. Like I don't believe that this was like made up or even exaggerated for every single guy to feel the same way. Even like the guys that are kind of more like in the background, like John, like even John had something to say. I was just like, okay, buddy, like you're clearly not very likable, but that doesn't mean that you do. Like I thought the whole Instagram thing was weird and like just basically they wanted to be bullies, which like the guy can be like awful. Don't like lower yourself. You know what I mean? Like just let him be awful.
Exactly.
Awful. That being said, the hashtag was FP. Him saying that his church group had to see this. Your church group doesn't know what hashtag FP is. Your church group doesn't know who the men on The Bachelor are, like to follow. This was before the show started. So they don't know who they are and like to follow them and then to read their entire caption after the 5 hashtags they hashtagged before. Like, no, this wasn't an embarrassing thing. If anything, you finding this out would hurt my, like if I were him, it would hurt my feelings. It might make me like a little self-conscious about like, you know, who I am as a person, whatever. But like, this isn't some like him making it seem like all of social media was in on it and like it's so embarrassing and like hurt him in ways they'd never understand, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, that's not true either. So that also just like doubles down on everything that they were saying. They were like, now you're trying to have like a pity party and make yourself even more noticeable. And I was like, that's 100% what he's doing.
Yeah, he was just
that's the only reason why he was on the tell-all. Otherwise,
he's trying to monetize.
Invited.
He does actually want to make a t-shirt that he can sell, which, hey, I like good merch, so I get it. I just think this guy seemed like he's like so irrelevant that the other guys spending their time on like ostracizing him or like having like this, like using him as their rallying cry for some kind of groupthink was just like pathetic. And
also weird that Brayden told him like,
well, I think we need to talk about Brayden because he's got
I learned one more thing from this.
Okay.
Aaron being on the group call and also doing the hashtag makes me think you did not win, Aaron.
Good point. Yeah, the fact that he was even at the tell-all. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, of course he's not in the final 2. How could she pick him to be in the
Aaron
final 2?
Wasn't at the tell-all.
He wasn't?
No. Aaron from final 3?
Yeah, you're right.
They just showed his picture on the screen.
They just showed his Instagram.
From his Instagram. And I was like, oh, so that means that he was on the Zoom call and he did the hashtag. I'm just like, there's no way a winner would be on that Zoom call because they don't know who won, technically.
Right, of course.
So he didn't win.
Great point. For a second, I was like, wow, I didn't even notice Aaron except for his Instagram, but thank you. Now I feel better. Honestly, Callie, this was such a boring episode that I was like having to rewind a lot because my eyes just glazed over. But I was
thinking about this because like 80% through, I was like, wow, this is bad. They're bringing back like old bachelorettes to fill time. Like it was just not good. I think they need to combine this and After the Final Rose.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted to talk about like what should a reunion accomplish at this point because I think a lot of shows have problems.
Are struggling.
unless it's a Housewives reunion. And that's because they all come with like a certain expectation of like, this is where the real shit's going to go down. Plus, it's just a different ecosystem, right? Where they've baked in the reunion as a key piece of like driving storylines for the future. This kind of show where they're bringing the storylines forward only for the sake of Paradise, which has already filmed, they really need to rethink it. This kind of gets back to the Brayden piece. Like, Brayden can't be the only guy going to Paradise, right? But he's the only one who they really teased.
They showed.
Yeah, they showed him with, I believe her name was Kat. I was like, I know she was a big part of Zach's season. I think her name is Kat. I don't completely remember, but I'm pretty sure.
She was in drama in Zach's season.
Yes, she was. And she was a front runner until she like imploded, basically.
Yep, correct.
But so they show her and Brayden together on the beach, and Jesse makes a big deal of like, Brayden is not done. He's taken his talents to the South Beach / to Mexico. Has it been enough years that we can bring back taking my talents too? It's been 13 years since LeBron James had it on the decision.
Yeah.
Just consider it. Anyway.
Also during the show, usually they'll announce who's on the show. And
I know.
You got none of it.
I know, none. The only person they tease is Brayden. I think part of it is they're trying to push everyone towards Gary and Golden Bachelor, which we're here for, so I'm cool with it. But it's just like, what was the point of the men tell all, if they don't really tell anything and we get almost no information and it's basically complete filler? Because I was like, holy shit, this episode's so long. I was like, this feels like infinity. And I was like, I can't believe I've been watching this for so long. But it was the same length of time. Just time can be elastic, and it felt lengthy. But like with this season, like what would you have wanted to use this time for? Like with what open questions? Like what would have been a better use? Like assuming they have to do a special of some kind that's like before the finale.
That's tough. I think I would for sure want more information about Paradise. Like let's announce who's going there. Usually they have like the new next Bachelor or Bachelorette come out, and we get to meet a couple of girls or men or boys.
That's
women,
usually
whatever.
after the final rose.
Ooh, okay. Well, why can't we combine them both? Do we need the extra week? They added episodes, right? Like, what season was that?
In the past, they have, yeah. When it's like a particularly good episode, yeah.
So let's take one episode away.
I think that, take one away, or, the bloopers are actually kind of interesting because you always get to see way more personality than you do actually in the show. And I'm like, maybe
I haven't found the bloopers hard to watch.
Yeah, it was like just sort of pointless. It kind of just gets to like the overall crisis of the show, but they either need a lot more distance the way that and then like provoking actual drama with a reason, like on Housewives, or they need to just cut it and just like do some kind of, I don't know, maybe they should do like a live AMA and all the guys get to come with like 3 questions, or the audience gets to come with questions. That. Thank you. I don't know. It's
but even then,
this is pointless.
The way The Bachelor is, like, it would be incredibly scripted with the questions.
Well, the problem is
that's rough.
Like if we had gotten a more like authentic conversation between Charity and Xavier, he would have maybe been less prepped for it or something. But the only times that really works is when one of the people is like incredibly salty and says something that's like either rude or inappropriate or just like somehow problematic. Like famously when Nick Viall asks Andy Dorfman, why did you have sex with me? And he says it to her on TV. And that was like also, I think, I don't know that would be as scandalous now, but it was sort of like before The Bachelor acknowledged sex. And so it was like a big deal back then. But that could have been interesting if it was like a more honest conversation. But usually what happens is like just one person becomes like a punching bag or something like that. I don't really know how you solve that.
Also, this season just didn't have a ton of villains. It was like Brayden and then it was over. The guys pretty much got along 99% of the time. Or I guess Pete, but that lasted 24 hours.
Less.
So like they're just we didn't see it at all. So it was nothing to us. But it's just like there wasn't much to like address.
Right. And so at that point, they got to like just mix it up because this was really quite painful. But
rough.
My other takeaway, though, I like Brayden a little bit more.
I do like Brayden a little bit more, having himself allowed to explain himself better and more calmly. He's still not for me. but I don't dislike him as much.
Not for me either.
Also, like, I could tell 60 seconds into this, it wasn't going to be good. When Brayden was like, Jesse, did I say it? And Jesse's like, I mean, I'm here. I'm trying to figure it out too. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I thought Jesse was the best part of the show.
Roll the tapes. And I was just like, oh God, this is not what we want.
Yeah. And then when they showed like the very budget graphic of they were looking for the tape of Brayden calling Charity classless and they haven't, like, it's yet to be found, was just like, did they just make the graphic? It look, I could have made something better for them using Google Sheets. It looked like crap.
I don't know.
That whole thing was so
weird. It wasn't good. Wait.
Yes?
Like, I don't know. Maybe they felt like they had to do it. The graphic was unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary. Or they Jesse could have said, like, we haven't been able to find that. Jesse could just do a pickup or whatever.
Or you hire someone to make a great graphic. It looks like
Callie, I'm telling you, you don't have to hire anyone. It's really easy. You use like Instagram.
Looks like I was on PowerPoint and just like scrapped together that graphic.
It's like all of your computers from this century died, so you plugged one in from 1999 and had to use the fonts and the programs you had from then.
Literally, a Nokia phone made that.
It
graphic.
looked so
and
bad.
We're all just supposed to be okay with it.
And it was like this purple letter and look that we've never seen before. It was honestly inexplicable. That was like one of the weirdest parts.
It fits the rest of the season because they clearly cut the budget for this show.
Clearly. You know, I was interviewing someone for a separate project recently, and she was telling me about how it was cheaper. She was filming something that was like a desert island kind of thing, or deserted island, whatever. And she was like, yeah, it was cheaper for all of us to go to Fiji than to just do it in LA. And I was like, I knew it. I knew TV shows go to Fiji to save money. I knew it. I was like, thank you so much.
Speaking of, isn't Love Island in Fiji?
Love Island, USA, yeah.
I texted you last night.
I think I was sleeping. I went to sleep really early last night.
It's been great.
Okay, let's take a brief Love Island detour. But before that, I'm glad you brought this up. Yes?
It's not that much of a detour because Sarah Hyland hosts, whose husband is who's on
Wells, yeah, Paradise.
And was on The Bachelorette.
So I stopped paying for Peacock because honestly, my streaming budget is like out of control. Netflix is $20. The Disney bundle is like going to be $20. I think I pay for YouTube TV. That's like $70. Like, this is the same as when I had cable. This is ridiculous. I can't pay for Peacock all the time, but should I get it back to watch?
It's great. It's honestly a great season.
Wow. Who's the narrator? It's not Ian Sterling, is it?
I think it is. I think Ian does both now.
Oh, he does? Because I saw on Reddit, someone was like, I can't watch that Ian Sterling. Wow. It's the same Scottish
I'm
accent.
almost positive it's both now.
Huh. Okay. Have you seen Ariana from Vanderpump yet?
Yeah. They brought Ariana and Maura Higgins from Love Island UK on.
We'll be watching that in the future. I don't know her, but I've heard of her.
But I am locked in. I'm all the way caught up, and I watch it every night when it drops at 8:30.
Wow,
it's good.
I think I need a break. Can you just what's the sell?
You do have to get through the first 3 episodes because I'm just going to be honest here. The host for the Love Island does not do a ton, right?
No. In fact,
and we talked about it. Maya looks incredible.
Perhaps too good.
Yeah, she's honestly one of the prettiest people I've ever seen. But I've always been like, yeah, but that's like the perfect job. You bop in, you bop out. The drop off from Maya to Sarah it's inexplicable.
Well, I think it helps that Maya's not an actress. The fact that Sarah Hyland's an actress and a theater kid, basically she's a child actor.
Oh, it's giving theater.
Yeah, I don't think that's the vibe that you want on Love Island.
No. So that's a little rough, the first couple of episodes.
Yeah.
But once you get through that, it's for someone who has shit on US a lot, it's great. I gotta give the props to season 5 US. It's been really, really good.
What did they do to change it?
I think they casted it much better.
Okay.
They casted it really well. it seems like, I think because of who they casted, it just seems like they're like in it. They aren't like, it doesn't seem they're as aware of cameras. Like it's so much more like, I'm not just trying to like get followers. Does that make sense?
I think I saw a TikTok where someone was talking about how on Love Island US, you never see a camera person. Like I think they hide them more than they do on Love Island UK.
Oh, that might be true. I don't know. This season seems so much better. They're playing better games. It's just casted really well. It is like usually there's some difference or drop off. This is not great to say, but in appearance between UK and US. And I would say that this season, the appearance is US has the bar. Very hot.
Interesting. Okay. Well, maybe I'll watch. I have a lot of TV going on right now for a lot of other projects at work. So it's hard to find time. And I also like this morning rearranged my schedule to be able to watch Hard Knocks. So I'm really busy is what I'm trying to tell you. And I got to say, having a really famous person on Hard Knocks, good stuff. Famous crazy people.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's on. I have a lot of TV too. Not even for work. It's just on my TV watching schedule.
That's why I like you, Callie, because you have a TV watching schedule. I want to talk more about The Bachelor and then our intro to...
I still have my 2 other things I've learned too. So
okay, but before we do that, I also just wanted to note, you reminded me when you mentioned Love Island, I was thinking about other island destinations. And that's right. It's time for a special part of today's show, brought to you by United Airlines. United is the largest carrier across both the Atlantic and the Pacific, and this year's schedule includes nearly 25 new routes. In fact, in 2023, United will fly to over 100 international destinations, including unique places like Amman, the Azores, Palma de Mallorca, and Tenerife. All this got me thinking, I probably won't be going to Fiji. As previously discussed, it's too far away. If it's cheap for production, it's not cheap for an individual. It's like the bulk rate's not applying to me leaving from the East Coast. So I was thinking about some other island destinations that I would be going to and that maybe they should consider for the show, because on The Bachelor, they have gone to the Azores, I'm pretty sure. They at least went to Madeira, which is nearby. It's also Portuguese islands in the Atlantic off of Africa. I went to Tenerife in March. You could hear about it on Food News as part of our Spain tour for spring break. It was awesome. And I do really think they should go there on The Bachelor because there's so much to do. Like there's rainforest, there's banana farms, there's amazing black sand beaches. Like it has like a ton of eco diversity, and it's a pretty small island. So they would like be able to get around really quickly. The food was good. It was just like really awesome. I was there in March and I swam in the ocean, no problem. Yes, I was only one of a few people, but it still was pretty warm. And I don't know, it was like a really cool place. So I think they should consider it. And I will say next on my personal list, and I'll report back for the podcast on The Bachelor, is the Azores. So, I guess what I'm saying is I'm into these islands in the Atlantic off of the coast of Africa. I don't know about all of you, but anyway, consider it Love Island, any country. Love Island, Spain, or Love Island, Portugal. They could go there in The Bachelor too.
They have Love Island, South Africa too. Also, everything you just said just made me realize that summer is almost over and over for some. And I would love to just visit all those islands instead.
Well, you can extend your summer by going to one of those places on United. Wherever you travel for your couple's getaway, make sure you check out United Airlines. Plan your trip today at united.com or on the United app. Remember, flight schedules are subject to change. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. All right, back to Bachelorette Men Tell All. I have to say my Xavier stock really felt like it took a hit this week. I didn't think we were getting authentic Xavier. He didn't look comfortable. I felt he looked very just unhappy to be there in this setting. And his words did not feel genuine. They felt very planned. And I didn't like that he felt he had to denounce cheating. It's like, we get it, dude. No one thinks you thought it was a good. I also understand that you aren't ready to get married. It was just it didn't work for me. I was just like, Xavier, do less.
Well, my second point that I learned is that
I think we're
Xavier
up to 3.
What was my second one? My first point was that Peter must suck.
And then there was a 2, which I don't remember.
I mean, 2 might be that we don't need this episode, but Xavier is incredibly confusing. If you had to describe him, what would be your 3 adjectives?
I honestly have no idea. I think that he's more of a bro than I realized. I think that he's really down with the groupthink, unfortunately, might be a leader of it. And I was like, I've had Joey pegged as the F-boy, but is it actually Xavier? But
I mean, I do not think Joey's a fuckboy, so.
I did it tennis pro, come on, in Hawaii.
I know you keep bringing that up, but tennis bros also aren't the traditional fuckboy. They're the I'll sleep with your 50-year-old mother.
I guess, but it's vacation. I don't know. I think I'm basing this off of my crush on my tennis teacher when I was 13, who I always imagined was really really popular. So,
but he clearly is book smart, but then
Xavier,
also, so he has that, but then I'm not sure if he has great common sense, and then he does things like knit, which are that makes him endearing to me, or so I thought. But then he's definitely broy and
super broy
in with the in crowd and making FP hashtags. And then is that's, now I realize it was a bad move. I was like, move?
I know.
Then he brings out a knitted rose. I have no clue. I
felt he was gunning for Bachelor in that moment with the knitted rose.
Oh,
he's not getting it. It's not you, man. For me, the worst, the low was denouncing cheating. We know that you didn't think it was good. You don't
honestly,
have to denounce.
All bad.
You don't have to denounce cheating. It's not denouncing, I don't know, someone who's hateful. It's yeah, you fucked up and you know it, and you got sent home. And you should have told her earlier, but I don't know. He just it just seemed very disingenuous. That's why it was so bad.
Also, I was thinking and we talked about this last episode, but I'm you were particularly quiet when they were talking about Brayden because you're a different version of him.
Yeah.
So I don't really get the difference in why they were so mad at Brayden, but not
and
mad at
friends.
Him. Yeah. I don't know. All I know is Xavier's not going to be the next Bachelor. And it was a horrible performance by him. On the flip side, great performance by Charity.
Yeah.
She wasn't really feeding into it at all. She's not oh, I feel bad for you. No, she was no, then you walked me to my car and said, I love you. What the fuck? She was not happy at all.
I liked it.
Me too.
She was just sort of so over it. No lingering feelings for him at all. Just didn't feel like she owed him anything. It was good.
She addressed it without acting like he had just killed someone. She was not over dramatic at all. She was very much so you're clearly not ready and you can say what you want, but it's not going to change anything. I'm very happy with my decision.
Right. And also that's a great point because what I found to be the problem with him was that he was acting like he committed a crime. And it's he just did something bad that indicates that he was, stupid. But the way that he was making such a big deal out of it was very unappealing to me. Whereas her just being this isn't a fit for me and you're not ready. And let's keep it moving was very classy.
Appealing.
Yeah. And
also
appropriate.
Because I don't think the guys had seen this yet because it aired probably around the same time.
Yeah.
seeing all the guys hear him be like, I have cheated before and it happened a couple of times in a short span. And like they were like covering their mouths and eyes were big. And I'm like, yep, they just put 2 and 2 together that he went on this boys trip. Also, him being like, I don't know if I am going to do it again or not. Like the whole thing is just funny. And so obviously not funny for Charity, but seeing them react similarly to how we were talking about we were reacting made me feel validated.
Definitely. It's just the way that he said it was just not good. I wonder if he's going to Paradise.
Also, I don't know. Lastly, we are huge supporters of therapy on this
pod. Oh my God. Yes. Thank you for bringing this up.
Something has now switched. Like how long have we been doing this, Juliet? 3 years?
2 years, I think.
All right, 2 years?
2.5.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you find your TV soulmate.
I feel like when we first started, men, particularly men, weren't talking about going to therapy. And we would be like, it's okay. Like, you should go to therapy. Da, da, da. Or it was like a huge deal to come on and say, you're going to therapy. From then till now, where it's like, I went to the therapist maybe once and I'm fixed now, is not the leap I wanted.
Well, the way that he said it was, again, very disingenuous. He was like, I had to find a therapist, like as if it was like finding like the perfect ENT or something like that. It's not just about like signing up for therapy. It's about, actually spending time.
Work.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid using that phrase because it's also so overused.
Do the work.
But I mean, Aaron B did the same when he told Charity about how he had to go to therapy to like work on himself. And like, I'm sick of it. I feel like therapy speak has been, and like just like referencing a therapist has been hijacked to like be let off the hook. It's sort of like when celebrities
it's like an
do
end
bad.
All be all fix.
Yeah. I mean, this is like not exactly the same,
it's like
but
Ja Morant.
I was just going to say that. The Ja Morant thing was like, so he's going to therapy for 10 weeks or 7 weeks in Florida to, what was it? 3 weeks?
No. In the season, it was like 4 days, 5 days.
Okay. So he got 5 days of therapy in Florida to like learn how to.
For something we don't even know.
He didn't do anything illegal. He did something maybe unsavory, but
he went to therapy in Florida for 5 days for flashing a gun. I'm not sure what therapists are available for that.
Also, I repeat, much like Xavier didn't commit a crime. It's just like I understand that's like,
that doesn't mean that they don't need therapy.
Yeah,
but
it's not fixed like, in 5 minutes, 5 days.
No, by the way, I don't even know if. I don't even know if you get fixed. You just like, there's no fix. It's like you learn how to process better. You learn how you cope. You learn tools to help you in certain situations. It's not like you go to therapy and you're like, brand new, bow on it, go back out in the world.
Right. It's like you identify behaviors and like behavioral patterns. And it's like, obviously, if you guys are talking about it this way, you haven't actually been to productive therapy. But I'm so sick of it. It's also like, this is a total reality TV creation. Like, it's like we're advocating for people to be kind to themselves and to take care of their mental health. And then it's like been hijacked as like some kind of platitude with no meaning. So it's very,
you can do anything, but as long as you're going to therapy now, you're good.
It's so frustrating. I also do think this is like both a celebrity complex thing where like, a lot of celebrities are like, I made a mistake, so I'm going to rehab. It's very similar. It's like rehab for what? Rehab for being ignorant, rehab for being racist, rehab for, I mean, unless you're going to like something that there's like treatment for, I don't know, like just take some time. It's so frustrating. Yeah. It's the worst. I did not like that either. I'm being harsh on Xavier because I feel like he's a part of this trend, but it was not appealing. His stock really plummeted.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think the stock that rose for me.
Brayden, I'm telling you.
Charity stock rose. I thought she did great.
She was.
Brayden's stock rose because he wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
Jesse's stock rose because he's usually not great. He hasn't, but this hasn't been his like, his comfortable, Tuesday, Thursday night game.
I think the studio show is really good format for him because he can practice. He's really good at the teleprompter. He also can play the straight man, not crack and sort of be taking it really seriously. I thought when he was talking to Gary, he looked so proud. He's like, wow, this man's really crushing it. He's doing everything we rehearsed.
Also, good sign because it seems like Jesse really likes him.
He definitely does. That was a good sign, but bad sign is I didn't enjoy the conversation of, do you think you can find your person? And Gary did a good job of answering of I don't need to find my one person. I need to find a partner to be in love again, which I thought was a great answer. We all loved it. Good job.
Also, he's very clear he's found his person. I mean, him breaking up about his wife.
Oh my gosh, so emotional.
That was really hard for me.
You know what I like already about Golden Bachelor? The stakes are much more meaningful because it's not just someone who's 25 and there's let's go for it and see what happens. But he's yeah, I'd like to find someone settle down. It's and he's got a lot of life experience.
Another shining moment for Brayden was you said you want to be like us. We want to be like you. You had a successful marriage for so many years. You're living the dream. And I'm yeah, you're correct, Brayden. This is you should aspire to be like Gary and his wife. You clearly found true love and it's it has killed you to not be without her, but you're moving on and trying to continue to live your life. Really, really, really liked Gary. There was one moment where I was uh-oh, when they were talking about the overnights. I don't necessarily want to see that.
Yeah. I mean,
and that just made me be ooh, are the makeout scenes going to be hard? I don't know.
Well, they're already hard. We complain about everyone kissing on reality TV.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not going to change. I got to say, we've seen some really unappealing kissing from young people in our time together, Callie. In fact, some of
that's true.
Catherine's making out on Love Island, Catherine and Elam, that was really seared into my brain in a bad way. So I don't know. There's that. And the kissing sounds just unbearable. So maybe they'll just turn them down for those people. I don't know. I'm excited about Golden Bachelor. I hope they don't overdo it. Let it be its own thing. Let it be weird. Let it be funny. Let it be wacky. Just give us humor. That's what I beg of you. Sorry, I want to go back to Brayden for a second. Brayden seemed selfish when it came to his time with Charity, but in every other way, he actually seemed kinder than most of the guys. He seemed more honest. He would tell people when they were the butt of the joke. He actually seemed the reason they were able to make him into the villain is because he's somewhat of an independent thinker. I say somewhat. I don't have that much evidence, but
yeah, I would agree with you. I
know it's kind of shocking, but I think that's where we're at.
Also, him explaining it just to me made more sense. Him being she was on a lot, and how am I supposed to know if I want to be here or not? Don't you have to wait till you get to that time? I'm not there yet. So why am I saying I want to marry her? And I'm these are all fair points. It's just how you went about it in season wasn't great.
On the other hand, this Men Tell All made it very clear without Brayden, there would be no show. So I think we should just be grateful to him.
I mean, even the highlights of the season, it was 75% Brayden.
Yeah. Seriously. I'm looking forward to him in Paradise, actually. Almost Paradise.
I cannot wait. That also got me excited. I was excited about Paradise.
Me too.
I love Paradise. I just like it so much more.
It's way more fun.
My 17th thing I learned? No, I don't know. Whatever number I'm on. The Barbie budget just doesn't stop.
It's unbelievable. Have you seen Barbie?
No.
Sorry, I know you have 3 kids. I thought maybe you'd make an exception.
I don't like going to the movies, so I have to wait for it to come on Apple.
Okay, it won't be that long. Wes Anderson's movie just came out streaming, so I'm excited to watch that. I think if you're going to see one movie in theaters, I would choose Oppenheimer based on the audio experience. It's really not something you could replicate at home. So
yeah, no, my brother. Just to be very clear, I do not have a home theater where I am at right now. But if you had a home theater, could you do it in a home theater?
Depends on how good your audio your setup is.
My brother went and saw it and tried for about 7 days straight, nonstop, to get me to go to the IMAX theater with him to watch it.
It's really good. It's a very immersive experience. I really liked it.
2.5 hours.
Actually, it's 3.
That's just an hour and a half outside of my attention span.
I totally agree. A movie should be 90 to 100 minutes. Barbie is about 2 hours. It's a good time. I enjoyed it. It's not perfect, but I'm glad it exists. Anyway, Charity, good luck. I mean, I can't believe she's crying that much over Joey. I'm absolutely shocked.
Is it over Joey?
Well, because she says goodbye to him. I assume it's over Joey. It's not normal. You're not supposed to say goodbye to people you love. That was a good line.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that Dotton wins. You know how they hype it up every season. So like it could be nothing and it's Dotton. But I was like, maybe she chooses Joey. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what else are you watching?
Oh my gosh. What am I not watching? Love Island US. I'm watching Big Brother. I'm watching Real Housewives of New York. I'm just starting Below Deck Down Under.
I'm going to watch Down Under too.
I'm like halfway through Johnny Football on Netflix.
I'm not going to watch that.
Painkiller just dropped. I will watch that on Netflix. And the second half of Lincoln Lawyer just came out. I will watch that. I just finished Hijack. Hated the last episode, but overall, I was entertained for most of the show. And then so much is coming out in the next 4 weeks of things that I actually like. It's crazy.
Like what?
I don't know. Morning Show is one.
Selling the OC. I'm excited about
Selling
that.
the OC. Sure. I love Selling Sunset in general, so I'll definitely watch that.
I prefer OC at this point. So
Housewives of Miami is coming back soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Housewives of Potomac they think is now going to be in October.
Oh.
Beverly Hills comes back when?
I don't know. It's not usually like a December drop. For more on Housewives, listen to Callie on Morally Corrupt on Fridays on the Ringer Reality TV podcast. She and Rachel and some of our other pals talk about it. We'll be back next week to talk about Charity's finale. I'm looking forward to it. I will be back on Thursday with Jared Freed, our dear friend of the pod. Thank you to Devon Renaldo for producing this episode, and hope you have a great week.